Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's No FOMO Charts live stream. It is Sunday, January 8, 2023. It's almost 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome, everybody, and hello. Let's go ahead and get started with the weekly watch list of some events that are coming up this week. In USA, the biggest news and events for the stock market this week is stock earnings season is beginning, especially this Friday with some of the big USA banks. So let's go down the list. On Monday, we have Tilray reporting earnings, WD-40, Albertsons, Bed Bath Beyond, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, Delta Airlines, United Health Group, and then all the big banks, JP Morgan Chase, Citigroup, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and BlackRock, etc. And there are more. In terms of economic data releases, we had the Fed Chairman Jerome Powell is speaking. We have a 10-year bond treasury auction, CPI and core CPI data, which is regarding the consumer data here in the USA. It's going to be a big number to watch out for. Unemployment claims, and some consumer sentiment and inflation expectation data. So again, the big news this week is USA stock market earnings season kicks off with the big banks Friday pre-market before the market opens. Looking ahead, several weeks from now, the USA Federal Reserve is going to vote on the next interest rate policy change, the first one of 2023 at the end of this month. As well, there are other problems around the world, including recession risk, inflation impact, not only on the economy, but also on citizens as well. The COVID and flu impact that has happened for the past about approximately a month, and the business disruptions, supply chain disruptions from infections, and from also some serious weather problems we've been having here in the USA as well. Some more recent news this past weekend, even today, Eurozone inflation flared to record highs last month, the data shows. Brazil protests and political riots are ongoing today as well. And then China reopened its borders to international travelers to reduce some of their COVID-19 travel restrictions. This has not really happened this serious for about 3 years, so it's kind of a big deal. However, the news did show that the infections are increasing there and business disruption as well. It's just that the Chinese government changed their policy. So as we head into stock market earnings season, let's just be aware of any breaking news, global news, fundamental news that could basically change technical chart setups. I always write this in my Discord to let us remember to utilize risk management. So position sizing, stop loss, profit target, educational advice. So hello again and welcome. So let's go ahead and start with the S&P 500. What's going on here with this right now? Today's stream will be a little bit different. I'm going to go over some global indexes. So we're going to look at some different countries, not just Bitcoin. So let's look at S&P 500. What's happening now? Last week, we were talking about there could be potential head and shoulders setting up. We did bounce off of this 375 support, so literally marked it. It turned into a little bit of this upside down head and shoulders action. Is the move over yet? Could go 1.66% to about 389.34, or it could break out 3.2% a little higher to about 396. So I'm going to remove that potential head and shoulders because if you zoom out, there could be a upside down head and shoulders if earnings are good, right? So it's kind of mixed. We're basically 4 days right before earnings. So if earnings are bad, the head and shoulders can come true. So we're still watching that support at 376. But if the larger picture, okay, is positive, it could still be a higher low and we could actually bounce up to maybe the 410 or 430 range. There is significant resistance at these two levels. So I'm just going to leave that there for next time as we're looking. We have 3 levels of support, 375, 367, 355. And then our next resistance to the upside will be 400, somewhere right 415, and then 430 as well. So just keeping an eye on that for next time. Go to NASDAQ. NASDAQ still in its larger term downtrend since 2022. We did bounce off this level of support that I marked last time, the 259 range here. Okay, so it's not quite a gap up break to the upside, but you can see the same logic applies is there could be a potential head and shoulders setup if it's going to be bearish. All right, it's definitely possible. Now, if we box in the recent price action, now I'm drawing it like this, is there's a potential descending triangle. Although we did double bottom bounce out off above 259.72, is you can see here the target to the upside would be about 287. The immediate target for this double bottom could be approximately 3% estimate. 3% would be that target 275. So two scenarios. If we bounce bullish, great. We're probably going to hit this 286 or even 290. Certainly maybe 275. However, if we bounce up and then we lose the support, if earnings are bad for the next 20, 30 days, then you could see the larger support is down here at 237 area. So we're just looking at that setup. Dow Jones DIA is slightly different because it already had its October earnings rally. It's still a golden cross. We're holding above the 50 EMA, which is about 328. And the sim triangle broke bull to the upside. About 2%. Did we hit that breakout? Okay, we hit the first target. 4% second breakout would take us to about, if that's true, this all-time high for December. Or I should say December 2022 high, which could be this second target up here. So we're kind of coming into this resistance range on the left side. It's still a golden cross. So if Dow Jones can survive, that would be nice. Didn't quite hit the 200 EMA support. And what am I talking about is here, which I marked last time, 323, we survived. Okay, great. Same thinking can apply. We have this dirty kind of head and shoulders that could break bull, although it's about, if I had to put numbers on it, like 50-50, because it's still golden cross, right? So again, the stock earnings news that's coming out next couple of weeks, starting this Friday, gonna be very, very important. All eyes on that. We could get blindsided, meaning something could really mess up earnings, right? Everyone's looking at earnings, but what about what's going on in Europe? What's going on in Asia? What's going on in Latin America, right? So there's other factors still, major markets. It's just we're about to head into a big stock market earnings season. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully the big line in the sand for Dow Jones is 325. We must not lose 325 for bull setup. This thing needs to hold and then bounce up. That would be very beautiful to see. It's all earnings dependent. Okay, let's go a little bit quicker here. Just glance a little bit at US oil and natural gas. USO hit the downside target. We hit this double top. So technical analysis works, right? 2.5% to downside. We went 6% to downside, and now it's consolidating to the side. A little bit of gap up, but a pullback. This is delayed data we're looking at right now. 4 hours still in that down cross. So the support in the blue horizontal line down here still matters, about $62. We got rejected, hit down our downside target. Now, if we're seeking out some kind of pattern, it did hit the oversold in the 15-minute, and now it's just kind of consolidating. Let's see if we can find a pattern here. If we could use our trend lines. This rising wedge is over, so we hit the double top, so I'm just going to remove that. Still, this it's not quite an ascending triangle. Just call it a wedge. There's 10% volatility here. If it can hold and the earnings dependent, maybe it might retrace back up to 67 or at the best 69, 62. If we have this Fibonacci here, you could see the targets would be like 66, 67, 68. But it can definitely fall back down to the downside here at $62, right? We see this kind of action happening with like Tesla or Apple, just psychologically. If we lose that support, one more bounce attempt, and then more downside. It's very fundamental based as well. Let's watch out for that. Natural gas, lots of downside. I am not surprised. Why? It's downtrending, so it's greater than 50% that it might continue to the downside in general. Low, lower high attempted. We had that double top. We talked about that last week or last month, I should say, and then it crashed back down. We're right to the target, 1165, which is our previous level of support. So I'm expecting there to be a little bit of a fight down here at this price. It's oversold on the 4 hour. It might not be the bottom of the move, but it's certainly looking like there could be a bounce primed this month, perhaps, right? So to be more accurate, if someone really wants to trade UNG, which I might partake in this, it really depends on the setup. But once it breaks above one of these trend lines, okay, I'm going to remove this. We did bounce off the 0.88. It's still in a very strong downtrend. You can see it's just in a almost this descending broadening wedge. But the targets could be somewhere around 1238. If it breaks bull, we would need to see a very strong reversal like this, or sideways, or up, or price going upwards reversal. So maybe there's going to be upside down head and shoulders, or a double bottom, or just a reversal. That's stuff I'm looking for in terms of chart setups for this week, but we are in the oversold range. It's not super oversold like it was back here in early December where the RSI was 6. So it's not quite the super bottom, but there is something that could occur there. All right. Let's just take a quick glance at some of the bank stocks and then some indexes, and then we'll just move on. So let's bring up some of the bank stocks. So we got JP Morgan. All right, so JP Morgan, obviously following that kind of Dow Jones. So the earnings report Friday, January 13 pre-market. It is golden cross to the upside, but it's right at a resistance point. So if it's either going to break out, if it breaks out to the upside, somewhere like 144, it had this nice double bottom, huge, jumped off, bounced up above the 50 EMA, and see if we can make a higher high on this right now, the 145, 146 range, if it's possible. If not, there might be a resistance. There is a little resistance level at 140 and 150. If the earnings are bad, then you might see a double top kind of action. It might short down to like 125 or even 120. So I'm keeping an eye on that. So we got Citigroup, the next bank. So Citigroup, psychologically, I could see a upside down inverse potential head and shoulders with the neckline here. That's very large. If this is true, the whole range would be about 25%. Volatility on this could go 10 to 20%. It's definitely possible. So the 10% target would be like 52, 53, 25%, which would be phenomenal, would be like a 59. But it has to break out above this blue line first. All right, so it could definitely well crash down. It's not impossible. Could definitely crash down. So it's really if then statement. Earnings are bad. There's the support way down here at $40. Let's go BAC, Bank of America. Slightly different setup. Slightly different setup here. Had its own little mini upside down head and shoulders before it bounced up to about 35. This looking like a little bit more of a almost a slanted parallel channel. Let me draw this here. Still in the down cross, however, but if earnings are amazing, which, you know, some individual investor trader has to do their own research for that. But if we at least look at the channel, it's kind of in the middle of the channel, right? You kind of see this. So if it's good earnings, it can go up here to about 38, 39 area. If it's bad, it could immediately test the bottom here, 32, or even crash down to 618. 28 would be some serious value here, some decent value. All right, and there's one more, Wells Fargo, right? Actually trying to claw back, right? Our pandemic low was absolutely horrific, all the way down to 2021, but it's trying to survive. Let's see if we had a candle body wick, not quite piercing into that 618, but trying to survive here at a relative support right above the 50% retrace. Not the prettiest pattern, but it exists. The trend line, that's why trend lines are very important. You even draw one up here. So the two levels that I'm watching for about $44 and 48, resistance support 40 or 36. That's the four levels I'm watching out for. Now, let's quickly shift to some of these indexes. All right, let's go to sector ETF. So I'm just going to erase some of this, right? This is a great, I remember telling people about this long time ago, maybe in like October, November, that, hey, there's some large setup here. So swing trading, if we get in early enough, it's an easy 10, 12, 15% for people who got in early. Right? I marked this multiple times just as an educational setup. So and then this is what just education. If you're just joining my stream right now and for the first time, you can see how if we use technical analysis to identify support and resistance levels, there could be a slightly higher chance, actually a much greater higher chance possibility that it might retest maybe the middle or go up to the top again of this relative move. This whole parallel channel was about 20%. Beautiful trade. Swing trader, that's what we want to see. So then now the question is, okay, are we going to break out above? We're going to break out above the parallel channel, or are we basically going to come back down? All right, so the only thing is there is this golden cross on the XLF. This is the financial ETF, so that's what I'm watching out for. Are we going to get a huge breakout or not? We're going to double top, come down, or we're going to break out, retest, and go up. Because then someone could try to play the breakout, but remember last time example from last stream, breakouts don't really happen all that much. It has to be a serious, real breakout. Breakout, retest this support level, and then try to climb to higher highs. And then we'll see a golden cross, and then the news will get all excited about that. XLE, I should reiterate the environment we're in. Inflation is in some parts of the world at very high points or all-time highs. Recession risk is on the table. We're going to have to see. Inflation data has to keep coming down for several months. The FOMC, Federal Reserve, is likely to keep interest rates high throughout 2023. That's what Jerome Powell, chairman, said last month in December. So it's just a matter of, how high is the rate for interest rates going to go? And can companies bounce back? Can consumers bounce back with the spending and saving? That's a big question that we're seeing. Labor market, can it stabilize wages? What's going on there? Right? There's a lot going on besides one stock or one crypto in the world. XLE is still in this almost ascending triangle. Interesting. So the breakout spot would be 91 here. These are 5 lines from a long time ago. But you can see the support level, if I raise this a little bit, could be about 81. So the two spots I'm looking at on XLE could be like a 91 and 81. It's just kind of hesitating. High, low, high. Is this our higher low? It could go a little bit lower to 80 and try to recover. But if it stays and stops here above 83, maybe break above 90, get to an all-time high on XLE. It could be beautiful. Let me go a little faster here. So XLU, we had a nice bounce from October low. So keep in mind that we have this bounce and we're going straight into earnings. If earnings are generally bad, I can see this pulling back down for all sectors, all companies, 66, 65. But however, the flip side is true. If we're good, this could be a strong support level. Let's try to get back into the channel. High, low, try to get another higher high. 75, definitely possible. XLI, golden cross, we're holding above the support level here above 96. We had a huge double bottom here in October, but same thing applies. The parallel channel kind of setup, and we might break out to higher highs. XLI, industrial sector. Wow, this is kind of interesting, right? We had a huge crash, and then we're actually retracing back to 2022 highs. Beautiful. Now the question is this real, and are we going to keep going to break out new highs in 23 and 24 in the years? All right, I'm not going to go through all of these. XLV, it's very similar setup. XLP, very similar. XLY, see, this is what I saw last night. Consumer discretionary has not had its mega bounce yet, like in June, July. So consumer discretionary is made up of different assets, stocks inside. You could, Google has all the information if you want to look that up. But in terms of just the price action, this is what I'm saying is there is the potential almost a descending triangle setup. So this is a very kind of yellow light or orange light risk on XLY. If it's bullish, there is a potential little setup here. You can see about 6, 5, 6, 10%, 12% before it tries to break out. We might get a repeat of July. I'm keeping an eye on this. Might have to set up alert after the stream, but actually we can set up alert now as an example. So let's say if I want to see if this breaks above, just right here, just really close, like 134.06, go right click, add an alert every time, crossing the value of 134.05, possible support bounce, long trade, and just create that alert. And then now it's here in the red line. You might not be able to see that, but it's here in the red line. So I just want to get noted of that. And I'm going to write one down here at 126 to say support price all-time low of 2022, potential entry. It depends on the situation, but I just want to know that. Okay. So if it breaks up above this tomorrow, I should have that alert, but the price has to pierce through it. If it gaps up, the alert might not fire. Depends. XOP following Dow Jones, XLRE, the real estate sector, not quite having its huge bounce, but you can see we established a higher low above 36.34. So support all the way down here, 34.32, resistance 40. All right, so XOK, this is a tech sector, very important. As long as we can hold, you can kind of see it here, right? The upside down head and shoulders, I can see it. Maybe. So the 120 level needs to hold very, very strongly, or else we're probably going to hit 112 or maybe 106 down here. Resistance about 129 and 138 to the upside. So I'm watching that very closely for all tech stocks. Communications not having the best, greatest time, consolidating, but again, very interesting if this turns into a real upside down head and shoulders, neckline right here at 52, and then we might get a bull breakout if earnings are a smash hit. 56, that would bring us back to our 628 retrace resistance here, but the reverse is true, 46.67, $44 if our support levels are here on the downside. All right, I'm going to shift over a little bit, maybe for about 5 minutes or 7 minutes. We'll just take a look at some global indexes so I'm not getting tunnel visioned into only looking at USA stocks. Again, hello and welcome. If you're watching on TradingView, YouTube, and Twitch, I'm trying to go a little bit faster right now. So let's just take a look at China. So there used to be SH comp, but that's gone now. Let me see if you type the index. If not, we'll just use this one. It's fine. Yes. So that index changed. So this one, the Shenzhen index, still matters. It's still important. So let's just take a look because I keep seeing this in the news that China's bull is bouncing back, but it's not quite bull yet. Why? It's very similar to some of the tech stocks we saw in some of the indexes. Is if we're talking about bull market, we're talking about 2020. Okay, that's not happening right now. This is not what the chart looks like. So the news is probably talking about just a little bit of this bounce right here. And that I'm in the circle. The only good thing is on the weekly, it did establish a higher low. That's why it's potential setup maybe to bounce back on the China reopening news, which should kind of facilitate business. As long as the infections don't get really bad with COVID. But you can see we're riding that trend line. It's a large symmetrical triangle. So if I measure this, about 20%, that's big. That's big. That's why people are kind of excited about this. So the immediate targets 11,709 and then 12,737 on the resistance side. The support would be like 10,500 and 10,000 as well. 1 second, hold on. Okay, thank you so much for the follow and for the nice comments on YouTube. Really appreciate it. Just had to clean something up on a live chat here. Okay, so let's get back into this in terms of the 20%. Could be 10 to 20%, but that's what I'm saying. It's still downtrending, so I'm not getting too excited about this. But if this happens to be a higher low, this almost reminds me of Ethereum crypto, is if it doesn't fall below the bottom here, that could be a good sign. Okay, so as soon as we lose the low here, then we know, okay, there's more downside and there's problems. But if we hold, this could be a classic higher low reversal breakout setup. And then once it breaks out like this, then you'll see people really getting excited and FOMO in about this here. But there were two chances for swing trading, May and October, and that's basically around the earnings time. Okay, let's go to Japan, Nikkei 225. So Japan, interesting. So you can see there is support right above 25,760. Okay, all the way down to maybe the $25,000 range. That's huge range. Essentially in its own parallel channel. So the Bank of Japan did raise their bond yield rate. That's why the news and markets were very, very shook with that. But basically, it's a consolidation going sideways for Japan, basically long term. All of 2022, 2023, maybe going sideways. So the big two levels for Japan are 25.565 or 25,000 down here, 27,000, and then 28,000 JPY. Because it has to do something, right? The only good thing is it's at the bottom side. So maybe this sometimes, okay, don't quote me on this, but sometimes when it's really obvious low support level play, it kind of fails sometimes. So this one, it worked 1, 2, 3, 4 times. This is the 5th time it's here. So be careful. If someone's going to try to play this on an index or something, be careful. Because sometimes when it's really obvious, it doesn't bounce. But if it happens to bounce, there's a nice 5 to 10% if somebody just kind of waits about like 2 months. Index, that's a lot. HSI, Hang Seng Index, which is Hong Kong Index. Okay, it really bounced off the October low. That's huge. So this is what people are talking about, that bullish response, right? 3-4 months. I mean, if we were down this much and it bounced 50% to the upside, I mean, that's almost like crypto, almost. So very good, very good. The problem is, let me bring up a Bollinger Band. It might be a little bit overbought on some of these smaller charts, like a 4-hour, 1 hour, right? It's still an up cross. That's good. So then now it becomes dip mentality. Where are the dips? Dip, dip, dip buy, right? So we haven't had this next dip here. Maybe it's going to come to like 20,000 Hong Kong dollars before you get that next dip. Earnings also volatility. Beware of that. 4-hour has up cross on the EMAs. So now our support is about 19,972 on the Hong Kong dollars on this index. All right, I'm going to go a little faster. Euro next. Euronext 100 index. So almost like Dow Jones, very interesting, right? We had this 1100 euro support level and then this resistance at 1277 euro. And now it held above the 200 EMA. So this is very closely tracking the Dow Jones. It looks almost the same. You have the double bottom here, the huge uptrend rally, the short, the support, and now we're here again. So it's really looking like it wants to get one more. You see this MACD try to build up to the upside, but however, watch out on the shorter term time frames. 1 hour, 4 hour it's getting a little bit to that overbought range. So we're either going to have a breakout or rejection. Where's the breakout spot? 1303. We break out above that, we hold. Beautiful. Try to get some additional upside. If not, might fold over, reject down. Right now, it's about a 50-50 with earnings. Maybe a 55 bull because we already see this, but it's not like extreme bullish. The extreme bullish setup was way down here. All right, I might not do all of these. The Euro Stoxx 50 is very similar setup. UKX already had, so the UK 100 is slightly different. UK 100, I marked this a long time ago, October, November. If you're watching that stream, I literally drew it, right? So you could see the bottom side was here and the top side was here. And then what happens after 3 months of planting the investment seed swing trade and you let it go, trader could get 12% in 3 months. On an index, it's huge. Basically caught the huge index. So if someone was trading maybe individual stocks on the London Stock Exchange or something like that, a European exchange on big European companies, there's definitely an opportunity for that. Definitely. Now we have a golden up cross. We already had the bounce, a little upside down, head and shoulders action. Now we're hitting our higher high. This is what I'm watching for on a lot of indexes. Either getting this, sometimes it breaks bear, sometimes it breaks bull. But now that we're hitting the all-time high of 2022, there's only two directions. This is going to break out to the upside, or we're going to magnificently fail back down to the middle or possibly even to the low. It depends though, because psychologically, some people think that inflation is peaked and we're starting to come down already. So it depends on what data and the mentality, psychology. Just watch out for that. Sense X, so this is India index. Very interesting, because you could hear in terms of the news, for instance, like Apple or some other companies, they're trying to move some of their production manufacturing facilities to India and out of Asia a little bit, but we're hitting the support level. It's still in the downtrend though. It did hit this up cross, right? High, low, high. It hit the higher low. There's potential head and shoulders here to downside, so watch out for this if there's anybody trying to trade this in India, is we just lost the support level. So if we hit the head and shoulders to the downside, it could be 4% additional to downside, which would take it to the 200 EMA support. So that's what I'm looking at right here. If we lose that, that might be the first target. 8% to the downside would be about this second level support, 55863 Indian rupees down here. So if it doesn't survive and follow global indexes back up to the upside, this index could be in a little bit of trouble here. And watch out for it. Nifty 50 is a little bit different, but you can see it's still, there's support down here at 17,472. Last couple we'll do TSX. So this is Canada, Toronto Stock Exchange. It's very similar, so I don't think I have to repeat it too much. But we hit this higher low support above 19,160, big support down here, 18,207. The next target would be about 20,000, possibly 21,000 Canadian dollars to the upside. If this holds the higher low, we have good earnings. Might be a little bit of a play here. If somebody's trying to jump into this right now, psychologically, is we already hit this higher low, and it was almost a month of consolidation. Very interesting. The TASI index, dealing with some Middle Eastern countries. Let's go in terms of, let's go to a Fibonacci, right? We bounced out this 50%. Where's the obvious retrace? It's not quite oversold. So jumping in now is very dangerous as our coin flip in terms of what's going on. It's a little bit on the higher side right now. The 1 hour hasn't crossed up yet. 4 hour hasn't crossed up to the upside quite yet. So this could consolidate back down a little bit before it follows up, right? Could pull back a little bit, maybe double bottom of 10,000 and then try to get up here, or pull back a little bit just to 10,300 and then try to make a higher high. DAX, Germany, very similar to UKX in terms of that resistance potential breakout. XJO, which is related to the ASX, the Australia index, a little bit. Trying to, just like Dow Jones, it's very, very similar, right? That's why sometimes I don't look at all these on stream, but it's very similar setup to Dow Jones. You hit the rally up, hit this 200 EMA, try to get this little bounce with a shooting star from last Friday. So we'll just try to see what happens here in terms of, is this going to pull back? Is it going to hold support, upside down, head and shoulders? There's three scenarios I'm looking at. It just broke out above this trend line, so that's our immediate support, about 7,075 Australian dollars. Last one, last two, we just look at Korea and Switzerland. Sometimes I look at these. Why do I look at sometimes the smaller markets? Is sometimes there are signals that you see before it happens in the larger markets. So that's why I look at a lot of these. I just don't do it on stream all the time. So somebody's trying to do this in particular index is the potential upside down head and shoulders, very similar. We had the right upside down head and shoulder. pattern, and it's about 15%. If we break out above this, wow, it would be incredible. 2875, that's a large upside target up here. But the support remains to be seen. 2122, and then last one, Switzerland. You can see it again, right? See it again. A potential upside down head and shoulders. The same setup. That's why it might actually be real. Is 10%, 10% target to the upside would be huge. That could take about, this whole structure took about almost half a year to create itself. So it's a very large pattern. If it's real, this thing could really blow up to the upside. But I'm not trying to hype people up too much. Remember, we're trying to keep our emotions in check. It's just I actually keep seeing this pattern everywhere. Might actually happen. Support to the downside, 10,600, 10,000 itself. And watch out for that. Now, just a quick aside note is I did mark this potential head and shoulders way back here at the start of 2022, saying if we lose the neckline, this thing's going to go down. And then that's 100% came true. So, technical analysis definitely works. Sometimes it's good to look at other markets to get a broader perspective of what is going on in the world, not just in my one country, or at least some of the bigger areas. Thank you for that follow on TradingView. Really appreciate that. All right, let's move over to crypto. I'm sure a lot of people are waiting for crypto. Let's go. TOTAL. All right, total. One second. Did my trading view stream crash? What happened here? If you're still watching, can you let me know in the chat? Can you just type something if the stream is still on or did it crash? Okay. All right. So on the TradingView website, it looks like my stream disappeared, but looks like on YouTube and Twitch I'm still going. So I'm just gonna assume it's still working. Hopefully it's still working on TradingView. All right. So let's go here to crypto. TOTAL. All right, let's take a look at this. If we're holding above this 730 billion level, that would be good. Right above that 786. If we're just playing support levels, beautiful, beautiful. This is what I want to see. I want to see this survive. I want to see the price hold above 725 billion. Okay, still a descending triangle, so it's not the greatest setup in the world. It could very well break to the downside, an additional negative 50%. Definitely possible, an additional negative 25%. So let's just get that bearish target down there first. 557 billion to the downside. Negative 50% additional 58 could be like a 300 billion. That would be catastrophic for crypto. That would basically destroy the market. But if it bounces to the upside, 882 billion could be right here in terms of the resistance target and also 1 trillion. So I'm very closely watching for this. If all cryptos are going to bounce, the stop loss is actually, relatively small for the entire market. It might pull back in the short term, but I'm talking about 3 months, 6 months from now. The whole market could bounce back 10, 20, 30% if the price survives. So I'm very closely watching that. Take a quick look at the weekly as well. Get a little bit of this double bottom action with some MACD open histogram momentum and some RSI bullish momentum. Perhaps we could get a decent bounce this year. What I'm cautioning people about is in the short term, well, we already had this little bounce. So in the 1 hour, etc., right? The 1 hour, etc., it's already overbought. So it could pull back. But the fact that in the long-term picture, if you zoom out to like a weekly, are we going to bounce at this one point? Because last time this happened, the bull market bounced like 50% plus to the upside. So it's in the oversold range. Not quite super oversold, but I'm very closely watching this. Okay, so just in case somebody is going to misinterpret this, is the price is already bouncing. Okay, so it could come down first, one more, like 2, 3 more times before it goes up. All right, so just watch out for that. As am I. I'm watching out for it as well. Okay, Bitcoin, same deal. You could see it just like the indexes we've been covering for 40 minutes or 30 minutes is if we stop dropping, that's the question. We need to stop dropping in the price. Once it stops dropping, we have a potential for higher low, and then we could try to bounce up and get out of here to 20,000. The weekly, we do have a little bit of this double bottom area at 16.1, 16.6. The death cross on the weekly is kind of concerning. So I'm not going to push this onto anybody. It's just a maybe setup. The daily is as long as we can hold this general range, which is a very large range in itself, like 16,000 to 16.5 would be good. We have a little bit of this it was almost an ascending triangle, but we just had this little baby breakout. So it's more of a symmetrical triangle. And we could see, we measure about 10%. 10% to the upside would be about 18,700. Beautiful. You could bet some altcoins maybe might follow that. All right. How much time do we have? All right. I'll try to end in less than 20 minutes. So even here, total market cap from last time. This is total 2. We have the support level above 432. Beautiful. See if we can hold that. It's still in the descending triangle pattern, but we're attempting to bounce psychologically. We're attempting it. You can see. Now you can see it. So our resistance level right here, 500 billion. Our support level about 433. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance. I was looking at this last night. Bitcoin dominance. All right, Bitcoin dominance chart. Still in this sideways. Remember last time we hit this zone, we had the huge bounce. Bitcoin dominance chart. The last time Bitcoin dominance went about 20%. 20%. This one went more than that. 20%. So if we can hold, see if Bitcoin get a little bounce going on. That's all I'm saying. If it doesn't, no problem, because it's really obvious that if this consolidation fails here in the wedge, that measured move would be plus or minus 6%. So as long as we hold the higher low, the 6% would be very significant if we lose this Bitcoin dominance. Right? That would be volatility in the market. Let's look at futures for a second. We haven't looked at CMA futures for some time. So futures is nice because you get some gap up and gap downs on the price occasionally, depending on the time frame. But see, on this futures chart, it's under the support, right? So total TOTAL was above the support level, but futures is below. So now it's just a trend line support on CME futures. Only good thing is maybe that ascending triangle. All right, if that's true, 16% to the upside on Bitcoin. Beautiful. Take us back up to 20,000. Let's see it. If it's going to be true, let's see it happen this month with some of this earnings volatility. This immediate stop loss would be like 6% to downside. Try to get 12% to 24% upside. 2 targets. Educational trade. I'm just going to leave this box here and let's see if this actually comes true over time. All right. Now let's move on. So not quite sure what happened to TradingView. Like my stream just disappeared on TradingView. So I'm not sure if it got deleted or canceled or the system crashed. But the interface for my TradingView disappeared. And I don't see any comments. There's no request right now, so I'm going to keep going. All right, Ethereum, this is what I'm saying. Ethereum, just like some global indexes, the higher low, if we hold this higher low, right, we might get a bounce going on. Thank you for the follow on TradingView. Appreciate it. So 1162, if we can hold this, it'd be beautiful. Why do I keep saying beautiful? It's because some of these setups, it takes so long to set up. So when that finally happens, we've been waiting for it for 6 months, 3 months as swing trader. So there could be 50% upside on Ethereum if we maintain an uptrend. That's the measure move target. It could go 100% if the whole crypto market flips up to the upside. But this is the support level I'm watching very closely. 1200, 1100. If we lose this downside, ooh, that's going to be painful. But for now, on the weekly, you could see it's trying to hold its higher low, and then we could try to claw back up to like 1500, etc. So I'm watching that very closely. Binance Coin. Binance Coin, we identified the support from last time and then bounced. Beautiful, right? We had this breakout, consolidation to the side. Beautiful continuation play on Binance Coin. So if we zoom out here, we see that our support plays have been good. Support plays, support plays, support plays. So this one is kind of in the middle here. It's a little bit chasing if somebody tries to just jump in right now. The stop loss, for example, is very large. Let me turn everything off. Quite large stop loss. If I just buy now, the stop loss is like negative 20%. So if somebody just jumps in now with no plan, they're gonna have to hold it for a very long time with potential negative 20% downside. So if somebody's trying to time the entry a little bit, like I said, sometimes there are little consolidations. You have to zoom in. The 1 hour is in the up cross, right? There's this consolidation here. You had a kind of FOMO bounce on a 5-minute, a pullback. This support held very strongly at 254, and then you have this setup where it breaks out, retest, and then continuation. So there were probably 2 or 3 setups depending on if somebody is swing trader, day trader. Day traders likely played this particular bounce right here. So rally, pullback, continuation breakout, sell, sell, sell on the day trade. Swing traders, they're saying, wait a second, up cross, okay, let me try to buy a little dip going on here. Dip on this 254 range. What was the stop loss? For educational purposes, not really that big, 2-3%, right? But the upside was actually tremendous. It was 8%. So it's a perfect trade. It's like 4-to-1 reward to risk. Beautiful. So now that you see the general logic is, okay, high, low, high, low, high. So then wherever the higher low is going to be, 268, could be 266, 270, maybe 273 earliest for a day trader. But, I wouldn't chase it too hard. I wouldn't chase it too hard because you want it to kind of pull back on for you, right? The pivot point, where is that? 265. So that's something I'm looking for. 265. Don't try to chase too hard because it's at the top here. If you're on a 5-minute 15, this thing is probably oversold, or it's going to be overbought too much to the top side. Yep. And pull back. It's been Asian market open like 3-4 hours at the time of this video. So this could all be Americans, Australians, New Zealand, in Asia, right? Then it's going to be Europe, and then it's going to be American session. So that's the kind of logic. But if you're trying to invest in this, right, you can kind of see, or swing trade, kind of see it's looking like this October price action. So we might actually see that again. It might not be over. I'll keep an eye on that. Solana had a very nice bounce already. This like 20% plus, 100% plus. In terms of the 20% in like 1 day, I should say. There was that 20% 1 day. So if we're looking at a long term, if somebody's trying to swing trade, you just got to find a good spot and then just go with the, small to medium sized position capital. We had the dump. I called this dump correctly. And then in terms of here, we're watching this very carefully, right? Hit this low, double bottom, boom, nice bounce. If somebody caught that, congratulations, right? Solana. There's also that like small dog coin, whatever that one was, but I saw the news. But we're looking here at the setup. It's still in the middle, right? So if somebody jumps in the middle, it could go one of 2 ways. That's why we want to try to get on the downside when it's here, and then you reap the rewards. So the upside target resistance would be like a $28, $8 still in the middle. So in terms of just rounding, like it would be about $20 average. Let's go to Cardano. Cardano, the shorts, you can kind of see the futures, they had to close a little bit. The longs, they're jumping in on this setup. Crypto, got to be quick. Got to be quick on crypto for swing trades. So the 1 hour is up cross, but now it had like a FOMO pump. I call these pumps, and wait for the retrace, right? These are people with their stop losses getting closed out, liquidations happening, and then longs just trying to push it up to the upside. It's 20% in about 1 or 2 days. Where can we come back? If we Fibonacci this, it might pull back about to 32 cents. Possible reentry, 30 cents, 29 cents. However, it's crypto, and sometimes crypto does not come down. Sometimes crypto just keeps going up. So at some point, you know, if it's going to turn into a New Year's rally, like in the next 30 days, and prices are never going to come down, then you just have to just kind of get in. But you just want to get in at a relative low and not jump in at the top here, get stopped out, and keep trying to do these types of scalp trades and get stopped out like 10 times in a row. Then you probably lost like a lot of potential capital, which is really bad for a trading account. So that's what, in terms of setups, there might be one, there was one, but way back here, we're talking about it, that there's potential setup here. Then if somebody missed that one, then there's continuation setup, and then you have to have a stop loss. If you get in here, stop loss is like 5%, but then see if you have patience. If anybody has patience, sometimes you get the payoff, sometimes you don't, right? We're looking at the example of where it rallied up and you get that reward. If we rewind to December 27, the same setup and mentality would have lost and got stopped out. But if somebody quit the market and never came back, they would miss the second. It's not FOMO. I'm just saying, you would, if somebody quits the market and shuts their eyes and never opens their charts ever again, and then they open it and look at their phone like right now, tomorrow morning, is you have to understand, sometimes it fails, sometimes it works. It's just a matter of, but 1 month ago was a little bit different information and mentality than today. Okay, kind of slowing down here. So XRP, I'm not going to do all of these, but all I'm going to say is if it's going to continue its uptrend reversal rally, we want to see breakouts, retest, and then never come down. That would mean, that's how I know most people know that it's going to be real. If you have one fake one and it pulls back down, it's not real, not time yet. We had a nice upside down and shoulders. Okay, if that's going to break up to the upside, like a 4%, a 4 to 8% to the upside, which take us to about 37 cents up here. Nice potential trade. However, breakouts sometimes fail. This breakout failed, this breakout failed. Now let's see if this one, what's going to happen. It's going to break out, retest up or not. Breakout and fail. Those two scenarios. AVAX, same thing. Beautiful. We hit the support zone, so we identified this support zone a while back. For like 3 months, we're watching this. I'm watching this. We finally get that relief. But the first set of bounces, I want to see a little bit more information because AVAX is down a lot. AVAX is down a lot. You're below that. The price is below that point at a retrace, right? So above that $10. DOT. So DOT, my call on DOT, it kept going down, but it's in the general area. It's very low. DOT, I'm not shilling DOT. I'm just saying, if we just look at the price, what I want to buy in A or what I want to buy in B. Maybe if I'm a bull, maybe I want to buy B because it's so cheap, right? A was the highest spot. That's very dangerous. I want to short at A and I want to long at B if I believe crypto is going to survive, right? Because there was insane amount of profits for short or futures. And then there could be a 80% bounce incoming on the long side here. As long as we survive, the support is very low here, 376 or 270. So there could be some additional downside, but you know, if Bitcoin rallies, maybe this might rally too. On the weekly, it's pretty low, right? Full retrace almost back to its September 2020. And it looks like this 300% area didn't quite get to the lowest, but it's here. So this is all I'm going to say for this one, okay? DOGE, looking nice. Doge, see if we can maintain this higher low. Maintain this higher low. Chart it. Riding up its trend line here. Trying to get stuck in this resistance zone. Very large tightening range with the sim triangle. There's about 50 to 100% going on here. So if this happens to be our higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, it could hit 95 cents. Or excuse me, 10 cents, not 95. That would be incredible if it hits 95 cents. That'd be $1. I'm talking 10 cents. 10 cents. So 10 cents here, if it can hit this nicely, that'd be beautiful. And then try to hit about 15 cents on the way up. So it remains to be seen. We're very close here. Are we going to get a reversal on crypto or not? That's the big question. SHIB from last time, Shiba Inu actually bounced up above our buy spot in the risk to reward example. It's still up about 5%. So some people are trying to stack their orders. SHIB can have an additional 33 to 50% upside. Bitcoin needs to survive. We need to bounce. You can see the top of the wedge is here, the 1,000 or 1,100 level. So SHIB's still in play. MATIC trying to hold its higher low. Trying to hide its higher low, its support level right at 70 cents. Right? 70 cents. And then $1. So MATIC looking almost like a Binance coin or almost like a Nikkei Japan index going sideways, right? But that's 40% in the range. If we rally to the top of the range, beautiful. $1.15, support at 65. The setup was about, let's say, a week. If somebody's going to try to get into it now, the stop loss is like 10, 12% to try to barely get a 2-to-1 ratio of reward to risk. Definitely possible. Atom, let's see here, the higher low. Atom, the higher low. Higher low, right above $8. Trying to see if we can rally up to 13 or 18 over time. It's still in the overbought range. So crypto moves very quickly. 2-3 weeks, this thing went from oversold to overbought in 3 weeks. Don't feel bad though, if you're coming into crypto and look at the chart now for the new year, is as long as this holds, there might be additional upside. Near as well. Near didn't really quite rally up to our 100 EMA of 220 or 342, but it might pull back down just because of this short-term time frame before it tries to go up. Litecoin broke out of a channel, retested, and now it's trying to make higher highs, high, low, high, low. Okay, see, it's like a Dow Jones setup. Are we going to break out to 100? We already hit the $70 level. That's why I'm looking for 100. If it's going to be higher high. Okay, I think I'm pretty much going. We went a lot today. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. If you like this stream, consider following on TradingView, YouTube, Twitch, Discord. Tier donate. If you like what you see, if you learn something, to keep the ideas flowing and the streams going for the rest of this year. Just to wrap things up, Stock Market USA season, we are beginning this Friday. So expect to see quite a bit of volatility for the next 3 to 4 weeks. And going into the FOMC Federal Reserve statement for crypto, the general adage quote is, buy low, sell high. But if you're long, buy low, sell high. And try not to, even for myself, try not to FOMO in emotion on anything into any trades, and always have this risk reward set up in terms of the long position tool. Try to get 2-to-1 reward to risk plays, whatever the size is. If it's just 2% to 1%, that's still valid. If it's 4% to 2%, that's valid. If it's 20% to 10%, that's valid, but it has to be a, managed position size. It's not all account, all in, right? We're risking 1% of capital, maybe 2% of capital. Discipline. All right, everybody. Hope you have a nice week, and I will see you next Sunday. Thank you, and bye-bye.